Moira Shearer, is helping him. A new role, but she seems to like it. Munich airport, and wreckage that tells the story of the dreadful disaster. The house, about 300 yards beyond the end of the runway, struck by the doomed aircraft. Here, 21 out of the 44 people aboard lost their lives when it crashed. As the news of the disaster became known, Britain was appalled. Among the fatalities were 7 members of the famous Manchester United team. Only the day before, they'd met Red Star in Belgrade in their European Cup tie. United had been quick to take the lead. This was through a goal by Dennis Violet, one of those injured in the crash. In the first half, the British team were making rings round the Yugoslavs, and they scored their second thanks to Bobby Charlton, another of the injured. This is how all would like to remember the boys of this great team playing typically fine football. After the crash next day, BEA officials were quickly on the spot, having flown out to investigate the cause of the disaster. The Elizabethan aircraft, a type with a great safety record till now, was on charter from BEA. The crash occurred when the airliner was making its 3rd attempt to take off. Snow was now falling more heavily, blanketing the stark scene. Here, only a few hours before, the United team had been homeward bound with yet another success to their credit, through again into the European semi-finals. Here's the story from 2 of the survivors, their goalie, Harry Gregg.
Well, I was lucky I got out because my safety belt was broke and I got out my hands and knees. Just as I got to the outside of the plane, I seen a few of the boys hanging about, Peter here, and I called him to come back. I heard the kiddie crying and brought me to the senses. I lifted the kiddie out and handed it to Peter. He took it away. Well, I went round to the back of the plane and the first person I saw was Billy Folks, Mr. Folks here.
Now, right back Billy Folks.
Yeah, when I got out of the plane, the hoses, the firemen had arrived, so I must have had a blackout. And the first person I saw when I got out was, who looked alive, was Mr. Busby. The others, everybody else, were unconscious. So I stayed with Mr. Busby and tried to keep him warm, you know. I was rubbing his hands and kept trying to keep him comfortable, but he seemed to be in really bad shape, you know. So very shortly the stretchers arrived and I helped him on the stretcher and went over him to hospital.
Football grounds throughout the country flew flags at half-mast, and football fans wore tokens of mourning. Players, black armbands, tributes to the men of Manchester, sports writers, and all who died. The Saturday matches were played, and that's how those who died would have wished. Mourning is nationwide, indeed worldwide, for men who once delighted the crowds.